Welcome to the sixth episode of Biz in Poland podcast. It's a part of bizinpoland.com, your key to the Polish market. And my name is Søren Christensen and I'm your host. And today I would like to talk about how you in practice register your company in Poland in 2022. But enough chit chat, let's get down to business. Before you register your company in Poland, you have to decide which type of company form you want. There are 8 different types of company forms you can choose from in Poland. They are solo trade, it is self-employment, civil law partnership, registered partnership, professional partnership, limited joint stock partnership, limited liability company, and joint stock company. When it comes to limited joint stock partnership, limited liability company, and joint stock company, you will need to have a start capital, and the amount depends on which of the 3 company forms you are choosing. When it is a limited joint stock partnership, you need minimum 50,000 zloty, and the value of the shares must be at least 0.01 zloty. When it is a limited liability company, you need minimum 5,000 zloty, and the value of the share is at least 50 zloty. When it is a joint stock company, it is minimum 100,000 zloty, and the value of the share is at 0.01 zloty. If you don't choose a solo trade company form or civil law partnership company form, you will need a lawyer and a notary that will help you with the paperwork, including the paperwork connected to being registered in the National Court Register. When you choose one of the first 2, you can register it in CEIGG, and when it is a solo trade company, you can do it online, and I will link in the show notes where you can do that. If you need a lawyer or a notary for the company registration, I can recommend you some from my network if needed. Read more at bizinpoland.com or contact me. It is also important to notice that if you don't speak Polish and Polish documents are involved in the registration of the company, you will need a sworn translator to translate it into a language you understand. So it is most convenient that the sworn translator will be present when you sign the papers at the notary, with your lawyer present as well, and otherwise the papers you will be signing will not be valid. Moreover, if you are not an EU citizen or Polish citizen, you need to have a temporary work and stay permit before you can register a company in Poland, unless you decide not to stay in Poland and do your business from there. The presence of a company owner in Poland is, as a rule, not required if regulations allow it. They may, for example, register a company via the internet or through a proxy, but as a non-EU citizen, you can only create one of 4 company types, and they are a limited partnership, a partnership limited by shares, a limited liability company, and a joint stock company. Each foreigner may also join the before-mentioned companies and acquire or get their shares and stocks unless international agreements provide otherwise. In this case, it's also important, and I will say necessary, that you will have a lawyer, and if you want to stay in Poland, also an immigration lawyer as well. I can refer you to one. The Polish authorities have made a document that shows the different company types and requirements that I have just described, and I will link to that as well in the show notes, so you can see the differences between the different company types, also when it comes to accounting, etc. If you choose a solo trade company form and are entitled to do so, then you can register it in person at a Polish public office or do it online yourself and go to a public website and register it there. I have also linked to that website in my show notes, also on bizinpoland.com. On the public website, you can sign up via email or a trusted profile. The easiest way is to use the email solution if you don't already have a trusted profile. After registering with your email, you log onto the system and go through the questions step by step. And when this is done, you get a number that you can show at the public office, and then you sign the papers there at the public office. And you just need to bring your ID with you, and then you're done. It is of course necessary that you have a company address in Poland, and you can obtain that via your office address in Poland or via virtual office in Poland. I will cover that in another episode. During the registration process, one of the most important steps is also to choose the right business activity number, the so-called PKD code. You can browse those online before choosing the one that suits your business the best, and yes, I will also link to that as well in the show notes. The reason why this is needed is that some activities require registration in a specific legal form or reserve the form to person with specific competences. An example is a professional partnership where only members of the so-called liberal professions may be partners. Advocates, pharmacists, architects, construction engineers, nurses, midwife, legal advisors, and just to name a few. Restrictions may also result from the scope of business activity carried out. For some types of business activities, the law does not provide for registration with the CEIGG. The entrepreneur must then register the company in the National Court Register, as I mentioned earlier. Examples include the cultivation of certain plants and animals, insurance and reinsurance, fire protection, trade unions, and sports clubs. And sometimes the restrictions go even further than that, and the law specifies the type of company that must be registered in order to carry out a given business activity. However, these are exceptional situations and are limited to the financial sector, such as the activities of banks or insurance companies. You can also have more than one business activity registered. My company, for example, is registered as a consultant firm, but also I have registered so I can have a web shop. The web shop is called shop.businesspoland.com. It's a retail web shop. So as you can hear, it can be necessary to consult with a consultant such as myself, or even with a lawyer with a specialty within your branch of business. I can refer you to a lawyer, just contact me and we will take it from there. It's also worth mentioning that when you have registered the solo trade company, then you will get a NIP number if you are registered as a VAT-paying company. And that number will be the same if you choose to close the company and then will start a new company in the future. But this does not mean that you will not have to go through the entire registration process once again. I hope this walkthrough gave you the information you needed. If not, then just contact me at info@businesspoland.com. Thank you. As mentioned, there are links in the show notes so you can go and read more about the subject. And if you need my consultant services, then just go to businesspoland.com and book an appointment or contact me for more information regarding it. Also, if you need a referral to a lawyer in Poland to establish your company in Poland. Thanks for now. Next time will be a very special episode, so stay tuned for that. Until then, take care.